The awakening's happening in the four corners of the world. We're seeing it all over, and we're going to talk about it. Isaiah 11:11 and Deuteronomy 28, especially verse 68, using scripture, history, and DNA and eschatology to reveal who the true Israelites that have been scattered and why they are waking up now in the last days. So let's look at it. The Sefer, Isaiah 11:11 through 12. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahuwah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Asher and from Misraim, and from Petros, and from Cush, and from Eliam, and from Shinar, and from Chamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Yisrael, and gather together the dispersed of Yehudah from the four corners of the earth. So who is the prophecy for? It's Yisrael, 10 northern tribes, and Yehudah, 2 southern tribes, the whole house of Israel. The second time refers to a future regathering after the first exodus from Egypt. This is not the 1948 gathering of Ashkenazi Jews. Those are not the blood descendants of the biblical Israelites. Where were the true Israelites scattered? A lot of people have been asking that. Well, Isaiah names ancient lands that today align with Asher, Assyria, equal Iraq and Syria, Misraim, Egypt, North Africa, Pathros, southern Egypt, Cush, Ethiopia, Sudan, and Nubia, Elam, Persia, Iran, Shinar, Babylon, and Iraq, Hamath, northern Syria, islands of the sea, the Caribbean, Americas, and the Africa's coast. This shows a people scattered across Africa, the Middle East, and the global islands, not confined to Europe or Israel. Deuteronomy 28:15 through 68, the curses of the covenant. Let me give you a little background. In Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, Yahuwah told the children of Israel that if they obeyed, they would be blessed. In Deuteronomy 28, 15 through 68, but if they disobeyed, they would suffer generational curses. These curses are a prophetic fingerprint of who the real Israelites are. Key curses identifying the Diaspora. Deuteronomy 28:32. Your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people, fulfilled in the slave trades, children sold, families torn apart. Deuteronomy 28:41. You shall beget sons and daughters, but you shall not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. Applies to chattel slavery not experienced by Ashkenazi Jews. Deuteronomy 28:43 through 44. The stranger that is within you shall get up above you very high, and he shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. Black Americans and Afro-Caribbeans have historically been financially oppressed, unable to build generational wealth, always dependent on nations that enslaved them. Deuteronomy 28:48. You shall serve your enemies in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Enslaved people were stripped of independence, language, culture, land, and identity, relying on enemies for survival. Deuteronomy 28:68, the nail in the coffin. And Yahuwah shall bring you into Misraim again with ships, and there you should be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy or redeem you. Misraim, Egypt, here is a symbolic for bondage, slavery. See Exodus 20:2. No biblical account shows Israel returning to Egypt by ships. This is a prophetic reference. Slave trades, equal transatlantic slave trade, 1500s to the 1800s. Millions of West Africans who were descendants of scattered Israelites were shipped to the Americas, to Caribbeans, and Europe. This verse never applied to Ashkenazi Jews. They were not sold on slave ships into captivity. Now we'll look at the DNA, archaeology, and history. E1B1A haplogroup found predominantly in African Americans, West Africans, and some Bantu peoples. Strong genetic link to the ancient Israelites, E1B1A versus European E1B1B Ashkenazi J haplogroups, and they are forbidden to do any DNA. Limba tribe, South African, practiced Torah circumcision, kosher laws, and called themselves Bani Yisrael, sons of Israel. DNA tests showed ties to Levitical priest line, Cohen, Modo, haplotype. And some of those Jews over there are trying to say they are part of that too. Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo tribes, oral traditions, names, customs, and rituals mirror biblical Hebrew practices. Portuguese slave traders recorded that these tribes were known as Hebrews or Jews. The prophetic end time awakening. Let's go to the Baruch in the Apocrypha 2:30-32. In the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves and know that I am Yahuwah, their Elohim, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. This is happening right now, family. Descendants of slaves across the globe are waking up to their true identity, and we're seeing videos with that. Ezekiel 37:21-23. Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen and gather them. The dry bones prophecy, and I did a video on that. Ezekiel 37 is about the spiritual resurrection of the lost tribes happening now, family. Hey! Who are the people scattered to the four corners? They are the descendants of Jacob, specifically the so-called African Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, some Latinos, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, descendants of the 10 tribes. West Africa, Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, Bantu, Limba, etc. Some Native Americans, especially those with Hebrew customs, Gad and Reuben, Haitian, Jamaican, Afro-Brazilians, also suffered Deuteronomy 28 curses. And you'll know just by the way that they live and everything. You can identify with that. So the summary is Isaiah 11:11 is the last days prophecy of Yahuwah regathering the true Israel, a people who were scattered, colonized, enslaved, and forgotten. Deuteronomy 28 provides a prophetic blueprint of the transatlantic slave trade, a curse that matches the so-called black and brown people of today. And Christianity and modern Judaism cannot explain this because they were never, ever under the curse. So, my closing message to you. We are the remnant family. We are the scattered seed. And we are the dry bones coming alive. And we are waking up.